Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's baking vlog. Now today I'm going to be making a cornflake tart. I had a request for this on my YouTube channel, a lady who wants to make it for her husband who remembers it from his school days. And I did a little bit of research and found that lots of people had cornflake tart at school with their school dinners. I can't remember having had it myself, but I'm looking forward to tasting it. Now for this, it's a pastry base with some jam on top and then a cornflake and syrup mixture with some butter basically. And I guess it would be served with custard normally. So the first thing we're going to do is to make the pastry, but I'll go through all the ingredients now. And I have here 180 grams of plain flour, and I have 80 grams of cold butter, 30 millilitres of ice cold water, and then I have 100 grams of cornflakes, 65 grams of butter, 30 grams of dark brown sugar, and 135 grams of golden syrup, plus about 100 grams of strawberry jam as well. So I'll put those ingredients to one side and we'll get on and do the pastry. And you could do this in a food processor, but I'm going to do it by hand. And you just put the flour and the butter into a bowl, and then you want to rub the butter between your fingers into the flour until it forms the consistency of breadcrumbs basically. I'm just coating the various chunks of butter in the flour to get started. And then you just rub it between your fingers until the butter is reduced in size and is mixing into the flour, and you have the texture of so that's about right. I can still feel just a few little bits of butter, but that will be fine. And so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to gradually add the water and stir it around until it forms a dough, and it should come away from the sides of the bowl quite cleanly. Now if you need more water you can add more water, but you don't really want to add too much. But it is true that flour absorbs water to different degrees depending on the moisture in the atmosphere and such like. And that seems to be clumping reasonably well. So what I'm going to do is get my hand in and see how that pulls together. And that's good enough. So what I'm going to do is just wrap that in cling film or plastic wrap, and then chill it in the fridge for an hour, and then we'll come back and roll it out. And we want, for that, we're going to want a 9-inch or 23 centimetre fluted tart tin, or you could use a pie dish, and that will take the pastry so that we can blind bake it. So we'll be back with you in an hour, and we'll go on to roll out the pastry and go on to the next steps. Well, I'm back with you, and I've taken our pastry out of the fridge and I've placed it onto the work surface, which I have lightly floured, and I've floured the rolling pin as well. Now we want to roll this out to a diameter of about 28 centimetres or 11 inches. And you can see that it's a very short pastry, and it will crack a little bit, but that doesn't matter, because we can patch it anytime we want to as we put it into the tart tin. And with it rolled out, it will still crack, I'm sure, but I'm just going to lift it up and put it onto the flan tin, and then I'm going to press it down so that it lines the tin completely, and then patch it as necessary. And I'm going to place that in the fridge and chill it for a further 30 minutes. Now while it's chilling, I'm going to preheat my oven to 180 Celsius, that's 160 Celsius with the fan, 350 Fahrenheit, and then when I come back we'll blind bake that, and we'll go on to make our filling. Okay, my oven is preheating. And I've taken the pastry back out of the fridge. So now I'm going to line that with parchment paper, like that. And I'm going to pour in some baking beans, like that. Now, if you don't have baking beans, you could use rice or dried beans or something like that. And I'm going to bake this in the oven for 15 minutes. Then I'm going to take it out and remove the beans and the paper, cut off any excess, and put it back in the oven for the further 5 to 10 minutes, so that the bottom of the pastry dries and cooks and dries out. Then I'll take it out and come back, and we'll get on to make the filling. Right, so our pastry is baked, and I've taken it out of the oven to cool down, and while that's cooling down, I'm going to go on to make the filling. So for that filling, I'm going to put my 65 grams of butter, my 135 grams of golden syrup, and the 30 grams of dark brown sugar into a pan, and I'm going to heat that until everything's melted and the sugar has fully dissolved. And then I'm going to put the 100 grams of cornflakes into a larger bowl. And I'm going to pour over the wet mixture, and I'm just going to stir that around to get all the cornflakes coated in that sweet sticky mixture. And then I'll set that to one side for a moment, because we need to put the jam on our pastry. Now I'm using a jam which has very small strawberries in it. It's my favourite jam, and the strawberries are called little scarlet strawberries, but you can use whatever jam you want. So I'll have a few lumps in mine, but that's fine. I'm just going to spread that all over the base of the pastry case. As you can see, it has the tiny strawberry lumps in it. Because these are, well, that's one whole strawberry of this little scarlet variety. And then with that, like that, the final thing to do is to pour our sticky mixture in. And spread that all around. And then I'm going to put that into the oven for a further 5 minutes. Then I'm going to take it out and let it cool down until it's only just warm, and I'll come back and show you the results. Okay, so I've taken our tart out of the oven, and I've allowed it to cool down. It's still warm, but I've allowed it to cool down a little bit. Now you would usually serve this, I think, with some custard or something, but I'm going to try it just by itself. It is very nice. Once it's cooled down completely, the cornflakes, because they've got the coating of the sticky syrup with them, will stick together more than mine has just at the moment. But I've got that crunchy cornflake with the sweet syrup, the strawberry jam, and a lovely light flaky pastry. So yes, I find that very good indeed. I'm going to eat some of the flaky pastry with it. As I said, this was a recipe for somebody who wanted to make it for her husband. So that's going to be it for today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below the video and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that will take you to the recipe if you click on it, and I'll also put a link to the recipe below the video, and I'll be back with you with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.